What is going on, YouTube? It is Primitive here, and today I'm going to be bringing you the finals of the RMC locals. This is going to be between myself on the left playing Bond of Friendship, and on the right we'll be playing Bond of Bravery. So it's going to be a battle of the bonds. Now my opponent won the dice roll, so they're going to be going first. Going to go ahead and play out the red memory boost and search out. We do see one of the ties going to the bottom of the deck, which is good, but they are going to go ahead and grab a Bond of Bravery from there, which shows to me that they may just have a tie in hand anyway, so it might be a little irrelevant. But I'm going to go ahead and play a couple Gabumon. I'm going to extend my Hammer Spark there just because a lot of the cards in the deck are going to be costing 3, and so I prefer them to only be able to play 1 card opposed to being able to play 2 cards this turn, so that way I can kind of slow them down and make it so they don't get as much aggression. Now I'm going to go ahead and swing in with a Gabumon so I can draw here. I'm going to be trading into the Agumon here, so that way I can 1, slow them down, and 2, play around the many option cards that are going to be in the security. They're going to be having the Atomic Blaster and the Gaia Force, and so if I hit Atomic Blaster there, I would have just got my board wiped, and that would have been a pretty bad deal. I did hit the Gaia Force the first check, so one of my Gabumons did go down, so I wasn't able to get that extra check, but I can play the Howling Memory Boost here, make it so that Agumon can't swing in this turn, but also provide me with some extra memory down the line. I don't have any Tamers yet, and so I'm gonna have to try and just get my memory where I can get it. My opponent does end up passing here, which is nice, but they are going to be having a lot of aggression coming out. The fact that they have 2 Agumons on board and 1 in raising means that next turn they could go in for 3 swings and put me at 1 security and put me pretty far behind. So I'm going to try to start to build. Gonna play Strawbymon so I can search out, and then I'm going to go ahead and consider my options here. I do want to get this Davis that's in my hand out, but I don't really want to put my opponent at 4, and so I decide I'm going to pop my boost here to go to 2 and put them at 2 once again, because I don't want them to be playing as many. I want to be limiting the amount of cards that they can play, and if I can have them pop their red memory boost, that is fine, because that's a resource that's gone, and the Howling Memory Boost isn't going to be that important to me, because now that I have Davis, I'm going to be having consistent memory gain, and we're going to go ahead and see them swing all the way in. One of the Agumons is going to survive, but that's no big deal, because I could potentially swing over that if I wanted to, but they do have the 2 memory. They can pop up to 4 if they want, but we're going to see them hard play in a Goonimon, showing that they may not have too many rookies in hand, because they would have been able to pop and play a couple rookies, but now they do have 2 Digimon on board, which is going to threaten the ability for them to be able to swing in for game next turn. So I'm going to have to consider swinging this Strabi into my opponent's Agumon. I decide to go ahead and swing in so that way I can go in with the Kendo. That's going to make it so I can swing in, get the last security check, and pop back the Agumon, and now my opponent has no security checks and only 1 Digimon to my 1 security check, so I am safe for now without them having a Tamer to put in a Goonimon on top of, but they're going to go ahead and swing in. The Goonimon will survive, which is a bit unfortunate because that was something that I would want them to not be able to have, but now they're going to be able to play the Atomic Blaster, which gets rid of my Kendo, which means that right now they are in a position where next turn, if I can't deal with this, they are going to be able to win. So I'm going to spark up to 3 here so that way I can play a Mat, and then I'm going to Cocytus Breath the Goonimon back. Now with the Mat out, I can promote next turn and have the ability to swing in with Gabumon and put a hybrid on top of the Mat, making it so that if they play a blocker or something, I'll be able to swing in here. And so my opponent's going to have to find a way to slow me down and make it so that I can't swing in for game right now. They are going to play a tie, prepping for future turns if they do make it to this turn. They are thinking we are going to see them go ahead and boost up to 8 with the 2 memory boosts, so they can play the Magnadramon to recover 2. So now I have 2 swings to my opponent's 2 security checks, but if you do see my hand, I don't have Bond of Friendship in hand, which means that I actually don't have any way to go for game this turn. So I'm thinking if there's anything I can really do, I decide to swing to draw. I draw another Lobomon, but it doesn't matter. I'm not going to be able to get it. My opponent's going to be able to take the first game there. It was a very close game. It could have gone either way. If I had Bond there was probably going to be a very high chance that I would have been able to get the game there. However, the cards don't always fall in your favor, so I'm going to have my opponent go first the second game because I want to be getting the draws that I can. We are going to see them play a tie but miss the rookie, so I'm going to take this opportunity to play down a Cordramon, which will allow me to draw some extra cards so that I can get things out there. I do hit the Mat, which is going to be good. That's going to be something that I'm going to need going forward, so that way I can get as many resources as possible and try to go as fast as possible. Now, I can keep my Gabumon and raising and play a Mat, or I can promote it and start to get extra checks. I decide to do that because that way, next turn I'm going to be able to Digivolve in raising anyway and get some extra cycle. I do hit the Atomic Blaster on the first check, which is super unfortunate because now I have nothing on board to my opponent's 2 Digimon. as well as I wasn't able to get that second check-in with the Corgimon, so I am looking at a pretty rough spot. I was hitting option cards on the first check both games now, which is never too good. You don't really want to be falling too far behind this early, but my opponent is going to have a couple Digimon on board. I'm going to go ahead and boost up so I can play the mat, and then I can also get another Digimon on board. I want to try to go as fast as possible here. My opponent's already ahead, so how much memory I give them doesn't matter too much. They can't promote and get the tie boost, so if they want to go into Bond of Bravery, that's fine, because they'll have to trash the 2 security, and then next turn I could promote and go into my own bond and potentially win the game. So right now I'm just trying to get as many Digimon on the board, and getting the Gabumon out gives me another mat in hand, but my opponent's going to swing, hitting a mat on the first check and a Davis on the second check. So now I am fully stocked up. My opponent is probably going to be pretty behind now, because now I'm going to be able to go to 3 no matter what, promote, be able to go to 5, and I can really play out whatever I need to try and get on the board and get these extra draws. I can go into the bond here, but if I do, I am going to be setting myself up to just lose the game, because I will run out of security, and my opponent has a Digimon in Raising and a Tamer, so I'm going to have to go for a different option here. With both those Tamers coming out of the security checks, I am in a very good spot, so I don't want to take any too risky plays here. So I'm going to decide to Digivolve on top of this Gabumon, so that way I can keep it alive for a little bit. I would prefer to have a Kendo here, so that way I could swing over the Geogreymon and bounce back the Agumon, but I don't have it, so I'm going to go into the Corgimon, swing, get a draw with the Upamon there, and then I'm going to play the Strabimon out, so that way I can hit this Lobomon, which is nice, but mostly I just want to be able to go into this Grizzlymon. I am going to go ahead and Hammer Spark there to put my opponent at 1, so that way next turn they don't have the memory to go into Bond of Bravery, because if they do promote, go to 3 Bond of Bravery, they can swing, hit my Grizzly with their effect, and then clear all my checks. And if I don't hit anything like Cocytus Breath or Hammer Spark, then they will just be able to go in with the Geogreymon. So gonna have to go with the Grizzlymon and expend the Hammer Spark there. The Hammer Spark isn't as important right now, just because we have the Davis and the Mat, so there is a lot of potential for memory gain, but I am kind of on the back ropes here. My opponent has 4 checks, I have 2 checks, they have 2 Digimon, and so I'm kind of just hanging on with this Grizzlymon right now. But with them only being at the 2 memory because of the tie, they can't do too much. They decide to go into the Agunimon, so that way they can get as many Digimon on board going into this turn, and really pressuring me, because now they have 3 swings, and well, they have 4 swings and I can block 1, but that's 3 swings to 2 security, so even with the Grizzlymon on board, they can potentially go for game, and so I have to play around this. There are a couple options that I could take, but one thing I have to note is that I want to swing in with this Corgimon so I could get the draw with the Upamon, but if I hit something like a Gaia Force, Atomic Blaster, or even a tie, then I will be in pretty big trouble, so swinging is probably more detrimental than not. What I really need to do is make it so that I can get over to this next turn with this Gabumon coming out. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and spark up to 4, so that way I can play this Cocytus Breath, put my opponent at 3, and I can bounce back one of the Digimon here. I'm going to decide to bounce back the Agumon that has to pay to Digivolve in the Raising, just because I want to try and get something off the board. If they want to swing in with these other Digimon, that's fine. I can block them, but now they have 3 swings to my 2 checks and my blocker, so I am alive for now. There is no way for them to be able to go in. They do play a tie, so it is a timer now, to where if I don't win on this upcoming turn, then my opponent will likely just win. They will probably have the bond and be able to just go into it, but now I have the Gabumon. I have to go into bond here. I don't really have any other options, just because like I said, if I don't win this turn, then my opponent is likely just going to go back and go in for their own bond. So I'm going to be able to swing, get some bottom decking going. Luckily not hitting any option cards, which I did hit the first couple checks, but now they're going to hit the Atomic Blaster, get rid of the Corgimon, which is unfortunate, because now I have to go ahead and go into the Lobomon, and if I hit another option card to delete the Grizzlymon, I'm not going to be able to go for game, because I'm not going to have the memory. But luckily we only hit the 1 option card out of there, plus the 1 at the beginning, so there was a lot lower of a chance for us to hit a 3rd option card in there that was going to be something besides the red memory boost. But my opponent's going to have me going first. I do open Gabumon and Mat, which is nice, because now I can get the card cycle going, get extra memory, and also just be able to have that option to go a hybrid on top of there, either a Kendo or a Lobo. So it's a lot of pressure turn 1. My opponent does get 3 memory, which means that they can play 2 rookies plus the 1 in Raising. But without the tie, it's not as much pressure. I can promote here to gain the memory, draw a card. I'm going to go ahead and swing in, draw with Upamon. It does survive because it hits the red memory boost, but it will likely get swung over next turn unless I want to Digivolve on top of it to beef it up just a little bit. But Strawberry is going to be able to hit, and now I can play the Gabu to search and hit the mat, which is what we're looking for here. Getting extra mats on board so that we can get that extra card advantage is going to be nice. But now my opponent's turn is going to come in. They're likely going to swing over the Gabumon, which they do commit with the first check. And first check is going to be the Cordramon, which is going to be huge for my game plan because now I get 2 extra draws. I get this 5k Digimon on board, and they lose one of their Digimon. But they are going to go ahead and play the Geogreymon to get one of the Digimon off board, so I don't have as much pressure. But with the board state right now, I could swing over my opponent's Digimon on board and make it so that it's just the Cordramon to the Geogreymon. Unfortunately, I hatch here and I don't have a Gabumon, which is pretty bad on my part because I really need to have that pressure of promoting next turn and getting the mat value and potentially going into bond. So I'm going to use a Spark so that way I can go to blue memory boost. I do luckily hit a Gabumon, which allows me to Digivolve, and now I can start to swing over my opponent's Digimon. We'll trade into the Agumon with the Strabimon, but now it's a 5k to a 5k, so if they wanted to get rid of this, they would have to trade their own 5k, which is perfectly fine with me. I'm going to play another Spark here and go into mat, once again using the Sparks because I want my opponent to play as little Digimon as possible on their turn. If they want to play a tie, then they can. They'll put me at 1 and end their turn. If they want to play a Agumon, it'll put me at 1 and end their turn. And this way, no matter what, when I promote with the mats, I'm going to be able to go up to 3 and be able to play pretty much everything I need. I do have the blue memory boost as well, making it so that way I can get extra memory, but I want to use these Hammer Sparks defensively because I don't really need to use Hammer Sparks to play around things like opposing Hammer Sparks in security, and also with the 2 mats on the board, no matter what, when I promote, I'm going to be able to go to 3, and I really only need the 3 memory to be able to go into bond and do the things that I need to do, and with the blue memory boost, I'm going to be able to have extra, so the Hammer Sparks are just a little bit unnecessary here. I'm going to go ahead and swing in and get the draw. I hit the Atomic Blaster, which is fine because it's only going to be able to get 1 Digimon here, and now I can go into the Kendo, swing and bounce back one of their Digimon, getting rid of the pressure, and it does survive, so now I have this Kendo that's going to be chilling, and then I'm going to memory boost up to 2, so that way I can put my opponent at 1, making it so they really can't have any plays. Even if they wanted to play the 2-drop Agumon, it will pass the turn, and with these rookies on board, any rookie will get bounced back with the Kendo. The Kendo is going to be putting on a lot of pressure for the rest of the game now, because when I keep putting them at such little memory, they aren't going to be able to make really big plays, and if they want to try and search for tie or anything like that, they're going to have to play rookies like we see here. They're going to play the Agumon, search for the tie, they miss it, and now they just pass over to my turn, and I'm going to be able to remove that from the board here. And as long as I keep these Agumons off the board, it doesn't even matter if I hit a tie in security because they're not going to be able to take advantage of it. But now I'm going to be able to just swing in, and I don't have the Lobomon, so I can't swing in for game just quite yet, but I will go for the Davis, seeing if I can hit one of the Lobos for next turn, but not hitting any hybrids. Going to take the Grizzlymon for potential defense if I need it, but as of right now, my opponent has no security. I'm going to be able to promote, gain 1, draw 1 with the mat next turn, and then I'll have 2 swings. So no matter what, if I hit a Lobomon or any hybrid here, I will be able to go for game. But this time, since I do have the 7 memory, I will be able to go for bond. I didn't miss it like I did this time. You see me going back and forth because me and my opponent were joking about there's no way I don't have the bond with how many cards are in hand. So it's just a little us joking around, but I'm gonna be able to swing, unsuspend, swing, unsuspend, swing, and as long as I don't hit the Gaia Force, I will be good. And I don't hit it, and so I'm just gonna be able to go in. No need for the Kendo swing there. Bond is just gonna do it. And with that being said, that was this finals. That was a very, very close match. This was one where during game 2, I thought I was going to lose for sure after losing game 1, but was able to bring it back. And then game 3, Bond of Friendship did Bond of Friendship things, and I was really able to just get ahead. But GG's to my opponent. Good job making it to the finals with the Bond of Bravery. I think this is the first time the Bond of Bravery has made it to finals of one of our locals, so showing that really starting to perfect the list after playing it for a while. But with that being said, this is going to be today's match. If you enjoyed, be sure to like and subscribe because I'm going to be bringing even more BT6 content for you. But I hope you have a great day. Peace out.